What would you do differently if you would start a business in Vietnam again? What were the initial startup costs for starting your business here in Vietnam as a foreigner? In this video, I'm going to talk with a couple business owners on what it's like actually starting a business in Vietnam as foreigners. If you're an entrepreneur or looking to start a business in Vietnam, then this video is for you. Hello, thank you so much for being here. Please introduce yourself.
I'm Eloá. I'm from Brazil and I have a small Brazilian restaurant here in Saigon. The name is Pasteloa because it's a combination from the main snack we do here, that is pastel, and my name, that is Eloá. So Pasteloa, it's the name.
And how long have you had your business?
2 years and a half, I would say. We are getting close to that.
No, I'm Vincent, alias Vincenzo. I am French. I live in Vietnam since 5 years.
What initially brought you to Vietnam?
Well, it's a long story. I went to Vietnam in 2013 first, after breaking up with a Vietnamese girlfriend that I had in France. I got really passionate about the culture, about the food. I started to cook a lot of street food at home. And then I kept coming back every 2 years until I decided to settle for a long time.
Can you tell us about your business? What do you sell and how did you get started?
Me and my girlfriend, I mean my wife, but she was my girlfriend at the time, we started to cook tiramisu at home. So I knew the recipe from my mom, but I was terrible at making it at first. And our first attempt was really terrible. Like the cream was not firm enough, so it was really a mess. Since we're both passionate about cooking, we kept trying and over, and it took at least 4 to 5 attempts before we had something decent. We just kept making it for fun until during COVID, during the lockdown 2021. We were at home, bored with a lot of free time, and we thought, why not opening a business and starting selling it? So we went on Facebook, we made a Facebook page. At the time, my girlfriend was watching a Korean show called Vincenzo, and we thought, okay, I'm Vincent, let's call it Tiramisu by Vincenzo. I opened Photoshop, we did a logo, and here it was. That's how it's born. A very simple, natural process.
So how did you start selling it on Facebook, and how did your business grow from starting your Facebook page? Where would you sell it in the beginning?
Okay, so at the beginning it was really slow. Maybe we would sell a cake every 2 weeks only. And it's only a year and a half later, so somewhere around early 2023, we started advertising on Facebook. The sales really started to take off. From there, we started to buy a new fridge, then we started to buy a bigger mixer, a bigger coffee machine, then a second mixer, and gradually we started to industrialize our process, which was a lot of fun.
What do you recommend someone if it's their first time at your restaurant?
We always recommend the main snack, that is pastel. That's like, let's say, same way as banh mi, you can find everywhere here in Ho Chi Minh banh mi, right? Same in Brazil. Pastel you can eat anytime, any day, you can find anywhere. So it's a very popular snack. So the pastel and also the coxinha. Both of them are like the main Brazilian snacks, street food. So it's very comfort food, delicious. So I would recommend pastel, fish, and coxinha.
May I ask, what exactly is pastel? Is it meat or?
Depends. We have different fillings. You can do even savory or sweet ones. So the classic one is meat with eggs and olives. And the other one, cheese and oregano together.
So we're exclusively selling tiramisu, but we have multiple flavors. We started with the classic, obviously. Then we started with lemon tiramisu, which is a completely different recipe, actually, which is personally my favorite. So I would definitely recommend people to try it. Although not everybody can handle the sourness, so it depends, of course, on the natural preference. I would definitely recommend people to try something else than the classic. Maybe the lemon or the mango.
What inspired you to start your business in Vietnam?
What happened was, like, me and him, we lost our jobs during COVID time. And then there was a Facebook post from someone looking for Brazilian food. A friend of mine saw that, say, hey, you're a chef, like, take a look on that. Talk with the person, and I say, yeah, why not? Let's see what happens. I sent him a message. He was asking for feijoada and pastéis. I did that for him. It was for his birthday. And he posted again in the Saigon foodies or something. And then people start asking where, and like trying send us a message. And we say, okay, let's start like doing here and then some pastéis. And we felt like, okay, maybe we have opportunity here. COVID was really bad for everyone. So it was really hard to find any other job. job here. So we say, okay, let's get all we have and let's open a restaurant to be legal. We can advertise that and keep going. So that was what was the main inspiration. We found an opportunity and we say, okay, let's grab it. They have Brazilian restaurant here, but are the barbecue places. But it's not the same as what we are offering here. So here is like legit Brazilian food. That's the idea.
Did you start from your kitchen?
Yes, from our own kitchen in our house.
And how did you transition to a brick and mortar?
To be everything legit, as a foreigner, we need to open a business. There's no way we can do like Vietnamese. The Vietnamese, they have a license that can work at home or do something similar. But foreigners don't work like that. Since our company is like fully foreigner owned, we need to open a space for that, to do the restaurant, get the license, get everything proper. So we did that. So that's why we're here.
Okay, so the thing is, I have the opportunity to be in Vietnam, where starting a business is a lot cheaper than in other countries. Administrative cost, like having a business license, is a lot cheaper than in France and in most Western countries. The operational cost, like construction work and everything, is like 3 times cheaper than it would be in France. Basically, it's a lot easier to just try out something, even without being too sure whether it's going to work or not. Yeah, that's just how I was able to start this business. I guess I wouldn't have started it in France or in another Western country.
Why not?
It's just too complicated, too scary.
Too much of a risk?
Too much of a risk. You would have to be extremely committed to your idea, which is great, but sometimes a business that works is a business that comes naturally, where you didn't really plan out everything, but it just naturally happened. And Vietnam or developing country in general allow you for this kind of opportunity, which is great.
This question is from a viewer. How did you figure out the legality operating a business in Vietnam? How did you navigate the language barriers associated with getting permits and licenses?
Well, that was not easy at all. The easy way, to be honest, was doing like Google translations and using all the tools we have now with internet. We also went through a lot of lawyers and consultants and stuff like that to make sure we are all good, we have everything we need. So it was a little bit tricky in the beginning because of the language as well. I have a funny example. We contact like 7 lawyers. From 7 lawyers, we have 7 different answers for the same question. The laws here change a lot all the time. So there's a lot of gray areas that some people are updates, some are not. I did actually was just researching about like information as much as I could. Some of them I just find in Vietnamese, so I just translate that. And at least I have some information that I can talk with the lawyers or hygiene process or license. So I have a little bit of an idea what's going on. But everything by ourselves, basically, like going full force for it and just researching about it.
Google Translate, I would have never assumed.
Yeah. Like that was the way. Like that was the best way to find my accounting team. We find by like Google translating, and then someone from like 10 people office reply. We did a meeting, we get along, and done. That's the way. That's how we figure out the stuff.
How did you find the right location for your business?
Internet and using local websites. Here we have like a popular one called Chatot. Basically just every day looking at Chatot for places and maybe contacts. So we just go for it. And luckily he found this place here. We came to check. We like it. We got a good feeling from the landlords. And we have a very good relationship with them. Almost family in a way. That's how we found the location. We find a lot of like bad places, high rent, and we want to be near the expat area that is the two, but we didn't want to be there because the rent is too high and we didn't find anything that actually we like. Very lucky we find this like small little corner here in a neighborhood. That was the idea, to be like, because this is very Brazil. You can find this place anywhere in Brazil. Like usually you have these small restaurants like or a bar or something in the middle of the neighborhood. So we could transmit a little bit from the Brazilian vibes to a Vietnamese neighborhoods. We're really lucky on that as well.
So first of all, I don't think this is the right location.
Okay, sure.
I'm gonna have to be honest. This is a cheap location. It's a little bit hidden, unfortunately. We still want, when our business will allow us us too, to find something a bit more exposed, where people can find us more easily.
But how did you find this location? Or did your wife find this location?
She did, actually, yeah. She was the one proactively looking for different spots. I think we had 3 different locations in mind. One in Kuk Hung, but in a parallel hidden little street. Another one in Tao Dien, and we just picked that one, which was the most convenient. At the beginning, the local was fully empty. There was nothing. There was not this glass door, not this counter. The painting on the wall was all messed up. So we had a lot of construction to do. Install electricity, the AC, put this window glass to isolate, to maintain the interior fresh. The good thing is that this wasn't too expensive. We managed to do the whole thing for a really reasonable price, very affordable. That's what I was saying, the operational costs are so much cheaper than in the West.
What were your initial startup costs for launching your business in Vietnam as a foreigner?
It was around $10,000 to $15,000. That's the average you pay for the license, getting the permits and everything, and also having a little bit of the capital to start a business. So we are start with this amount of money.
Capital, does that also include renting a place?
Yes, we use part of the capital to rent, but then we put more money in the future for that. That was just the start to have everything like done, like paying the lawyers, permits, be able to open the place, rent the place, and then we add more to the first amount. We did everything. We had before people working with us, but unfortunately here it's very like they work for a while and they might go back to their hometown or go back to studying. So it's always changing. So it's really hard to have someone like full time. Since the beginning, I would say it's just me and him most of the time.
But you also have your wife who's Vietnamese.
So she's the one who handles the business license and everything. So I couldn't even tell you how much that cost, but she told me it's really cheap enough. That's not something to worry about.
Okay.
We didn't even start out with a business license right away. At the beginning, we were just selling on Facebook. We would use a Grab delivery to just send out the order of clients. It was just like a simple home business and registered, and that's really advantage that let us, start out without too much commitment. The cost involved business license, which is really cheap, renting this local, which is quite cheap too. Well, it's cheap because the location is a bit hidden. If we were in the central street of Tao Dien, it would be like 4 times more expensive. Of course, that can vary.
How's running a business in Vietnam different from running a business back in your home country of Brazil?
I would say mainly, I think the language barrier is a little bit tricky, but I think in terms of bureaucracy, it's kind of similar, like in Brazil we have a lot of stuff to do as well, a lot of taxes as well, same as here in Vietnam. It's a little bit difficult, even we're speaking the same language there, Portuguese, not all the time we're like looking eye to like a lot of situations. I think the language barrier, maybe if I knew a little bit better Vietnamese, like speaking and be more like proper, I might be more understand better how everything works. But it's part of like living abroad, trying to learn a new language. It's not that easy, but I would say the language, I guess.
What would you do differently if you would start a business in Vietnam again?
I think I would collect more capital. That's the main thing. If I had the time and opportunity, I would try to bring more cash to the business, because then it's easier to get some license, some permits, like work permits, TRC. Depends the amount you invest, you have some benefits from that. If I knew in the beginning with a better research, I would say, maybe I would like try to collect more capital to have it more benefits. Mm-hmm. So it's something that I would do differently, is like having more cash to do it.
More capital in the beginning.
Yeah, capital in the beginning to do it and run and maybe operate a little bit better with less struggle, I would say. Mm-hmm. So yeah. I think the money.
What do you think is a good amount of capital to start off with?
Well, really depends. In our case here, I would say maybe $30,000 to $40,000 at least, because here is really small, right? I'm talking about this type of place, very small. We have like 4 tables, but I think for something bigger, at least 2 or 3 times more this amount. Should be like safe, and you can hire people, you can like have the whole team there supporting you. So yeah, a little bit more. Basically trying to operate as much as you can your store as well. Like if you can open from lunch to dinner, better and so on. So we can keep this money rotating and making more, right?
What's the most rewarding thing about operating a business in Vietnam?
I think passing all the challenges, like permits, license, taxes, and keep going, still be here after 2 years and a half. We're really proud of that. Being a small business with so many competitions, and we doing like legit, authentic Brazilian food. We have a very positive feedback with all the dishes we do here. So we're very proud of like our products, what we are offering, and how long we are in this. I know it looks like, okay, only 2 years, but it's a long run for F&B business, right? Most of the business in the first year, they already close or something happens. In a way, we're like getting old, but not really. So that's pretty exciting in a way. Like looking forward, of course, like many years. Until now, we're very proud of be able to, me and him, basically doing all of these by ourselves.
I don't think there's any other authentic Brazilian restaurants in this area or in Vietnam.
No, there isn't. Perhaps before, a long time ago, there was someone doing in the D1 area doing some Brazilian snacks, but was a bit of everything. There was Italian food, there was some Brazilian, some Vietnamese. So no, actually only focusing on Brazilian food. Was part of like a huge menu. And after that, only us, as far as we are aware of it.
Yeah, so that's what makes you different.
Yes, that's the main thing. Like, okay, let's do something different. And I think Vietnam in general is very welcoming for other cultures. So that was the other reason. Let's like showcase what's actually like real Brazilian food. And people just come for it. Like they want to know because they never tried, they don't have an idea. And a lot of people still associate with barbecues and stuff. And we're way more than that. We have so much to offer. But we like to start like from the basics and stuff to people to get used to that. And maybe in the future we can add other dishes from other parts from Brazil.
Just having people who enjoy our products and give us compliments is really rewarding. We're constantly trying to improve our service, our recipe, and just how we can please customer. Maybe one thing that is not easy is that we're trying to please customer as much as possible because we want people to like our brand and we want people to talk about it in order to help the business become successful. Problem is some people can be demanding and some people can ask very specific things. And we tend to always accept whatever clients are going to ask. For example, some people will want a special decoration. Some people will ask us picture of previous decoration, then will ask us, can you mix the decoration of this picture and the one of this picture? Or some people are going to ask candle, do we have candle? Oh no, we don't have, so we have to quickly buy a candle, these kind of things. So we're just trying to do whatever we can to please the customer. But at some point, it can get too complicated and too time consuming to always say yes. So we gotta learn where to place the bar between what we accept and what we don't. So this is something that we learn along the way.
Pros and cons of running a business in Vietnam.
I think the pros is actually trying to showcase something new, like very unique, and be able to share that with the Vietnamese. That's our main goal. I think the cons is like not very clear laws, changing too often, so it's hard sometimes to keep the pace of how they change the things here. These should be the main ones, I guess. It's difficult sometimes to understand what's going on, and it's something, oh, they update like last week, but then suddenly they change again, and no one knows. Like even sometimes going to like get the proper information, going to the departments, going to check with the, oh, let's go to this department, and we arrive there, and sometimes, oh, but it's not that like this. You need to do online, or you need to, this form is wrong. So it's a little bit confusing, this part, even for Vietnamese. Sometimes we have some friends like helping us, and even for them it's like really hard. Even for some Vietnamese friends that we have that also have business here, it's also like really hard to understand. So it's just not us as foreigners like passing through that. The Vietnamese also have some difficulties on this area. I mean, with the time you kind of get used to, but it's always something new coming up, something different. That's, I think, the main challenge here.
What's the biggest lesson you've learned about running a business in Vietnam?
I think be patient, very patient, and keep it going. If you really believe on that and you think, okay, I see something here that can be something bigger in the future, keep investing. Is like very demanding, it's tiring, of course. There is a lot of investment on that, but just keep going and have patience, because that's how things are built and how Vietnam also works. You need to go with the flow in a way.
It's kind of like driving through traffic, go with the
Yes,
flow.
I was about to give this example. Yeah, you need to like sit in your motorbike and go and follow the traffic, follow the vibes, and just keep going. Keep moving. Important to keep moving slowly at your own pace. Don't rush it up, because then you're gonna have a problem in the future, you know? Like, so just keep cool, I would say.
We should just try out things without overthinking them too much. For example, if I'm talking about communication, just trying out to send out video and advertise in whichever way feels intuitive, then see what works and just select and keep doing what works best, and just put aside what didn't work.
Any advice or messages you'd like to share for any foreigners who are looking to start a business in Vietnam?
I think do your lesson, please research about that, make sure you have enough money to keep at least for 1-2 years without any profit, depend what you're doing. Do as many as questions you need, go for lawyers, go for consultings, and then like, okay, now I got all my final answer and go for it. But research about it. It's not like easy to navigate, but it's possible. We are here. But again, do your lesson, like do properly. Just like, oh, I want to open a business and think it's just like having the money or that. No, there's a lot of layers on that. If you have friends or places that you might go, just go there and ask the owners or someone. Just be bold, you know, just go for that. That was one of the things that we struggled in the beginning.
Just like how we're doing right now, we're asking her questions.
Yes, exactly. But when we opened, we didn't have a lot of references from friends or anyone that we knew that could like give us an answer. And even when we find someone, was very, how can I say, not giving us the proper answer, just always very
secretive.
Yes, in a way. And I say, why so much secret? You know, what's going on here? So we learned like, some people, they just don't want to talk about it, and that's fine. There's not a lot of people voicing about that. It's like not a lot of people actually sit and talk, oh, this is the difficulty I have here in my business, but this is what I've been doing and it's positive. People usually, they don't really talk about that here. So that was the beginning for us really hard, because there was no reference, no one we can trust. That's why we need just like, okay, let's do our lesson, like we research a lot of Google Translate and a lot of mistakes on that, of course, like full all the time, but that's how we learn and how we could do like our business successful, I would say.
And 2.5 years later, you're still here.
Yeah, exactly. So we're very proud to keep that way.
Definitely, you have the opportunity to be in a country where it's really easy to do, easy to try. It's not expensive. So just try out whatever you have in mind. And if it's not going to work, you're going to try something else. If you're not going to do it in Vietnam, you're not going to do it anywhere, because this is really the land of opportunity, and so just go ahead.
If you made it this far, thanks so much for watching. What did you think? And if you haven't already, join my memberships down below and subscribe for more interviews. And until then, I'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.